Okay, start.
Okay, dude, Vishnu, in India now, I think a major problem, right, is that Indians don't have civic sense. Correct?
Correct.
Everybody is talking about civic sense. Every YouTuber on YouTube is talking about civic sense. Oh, why? Why? I don't live in India, so I don't have an understanding of why they're talking about civic sense. What is civic sense according to you?
People need to.
Let me rephrase the question. When I say civic sense, what is the thing that comes to your head? Like when it thinks that civic sense is being followed, what is the thing that comes to your head?
People stand in queues.
Okay, let's write them down. Right, stand in queues.
People don't honk on the road.
No honking.
People don't throw garbage wherever they like. They don't spit pan wherever they like.
No littering. Okay. Stuff like this, right?
Yeah.
Okay. What is common in all of this? Essentially, you're standing in queues. Why?
Because you want to make sure that first
Okay.
person who comes first.
Yes.
There is a system of fairness which is ensured.
Right. So essentially, if you're not standing in queues, it is just chaos. Right? Everybody is in whatever direction they want, they're coming and joining. But if you stand in a queue, that means you're deciding a rule. First person stands first, second person stands second, third person stands third. Similarly, in honking, we're all deciding that we will follow the traffic rules. And if you're following the traffic rules, there's obviously no need for honking. Same thing goes with littering. What is civic sense? If you look at these examples, we can derive one common feature of civic sense, which is nothing but order is being followed.
Okay.
It makes sense, right?
Yeah.
So whenever order is being followed, you can say that civic sense is high among those people. Next, why is civic sense needed? Why is this order even needed in society?
There needs to be a sense of fairness. So if you're standing in a queue, then it needs to be fair. The person who comes first gets this thing. People shouldn't get annoyed by all the honking which is there. People shouldn't have to make extra effort to clean up their surroundings. If people have littered there, if people have the gutka pan, whatever problem they have had, if they've caused a mess there. If everyone follows ticket, then you don't need some person who is forcibly enforcing things onto people.
Yes. So if order is not followed, what is the demerit to all society? What happens to society?
It becomes inefficient and stressful.
So it is becoming stressful, and as a result, becomes inefficient. So if there is some goal for societal goal, due to chaos, it takes too much time to achieve. This is essentially what it's saying, right?
Okay.
So it's exactly what is happening with every infrastructure project in India. No rules are being followed. So one metro is taking 10 years to build, 20 years to build, 30 years to build, right? So why do we need order? We need order so that time to achieve societal goals is reduced. You are seeing progress faster. Correct. Progress, the entire society is getting better faster, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Then how do you enforce order? How do you make sure there is order in society? Alright. So we've already discussed that since order is nothing but following the rules. Rules is the only way to establish order. Correct? So rules. This is nothing but the law. In all democratic countries, what we say is the law. It is nothing but rules. Rules that everybody of us have agreed to follow if you're a citizen of the country. Okay? Now these rules, they are of two types. They are either punitive nature. Punitive is, if you do not follow this rule, you will face a punishment. Or there is another type of rule, it is rewarding in nature. if you follow this rule, I will give you some sort of reward. I will give you some sort of benefit. So there are two types of rules.
What if there is a rule but there is no consequence attached to it? Then that's not even a rule.
It is not even a rule because it is not changing anything. There is no consequence to that. A rule is a rule only if it has consequence.
And what if you cannot enforce that consequence because of large number of people?
We'll get to that.
Okay.
But essentially there are two types of rules.
Fine.
Right.
So ideally speaking, from a rules point of view, if there is no consequence, then there is no point of making it a rule.
Because the point of making a rule is because you want some order.
Yeah.
You want some systematic movement of society. Therefore, you will create rules. And then you will create rules. There are only two types of rules. You can either punish them for not following the rules, or you can reward them for following the rules, or both.
Okay.
A combination of both.
Yeah.
But when you do this as a government or an external third body that is governing the society, the problem is that both these set of rules, right, will always be external in nature. Essentially, it will either be you're getting more money, or you're losing money, or you're going into jail, you're losing fame, you're gaining fame, right? All of these are external rewards. Is that making sense?
External to who?
External to the individual.
Okay.
So the rules apply to the individual, right, in the society. Now, when you're applying these rules to the individual in the society, as a third party, the problem is the third party can only give external rewards. Is that making sense?
Correct.
But it's fine. You can get external rewards and still, to some extent, control the behavior of an individual. Alright?
Okay.
But the external reward is not the only way to control the behavior of the individual. Another way to control the behavior of the individual is internal motivation. I'm not sure if this is visible, but it is internal motivation. The difference between internal motivation and external motivation is that external motivation is weak. At some point, if the individual becomes stronger than the governing body, which is giving the reward and punishment, the reward and punishment's value decreases.
Correct. So if there is 1,000 rupees fine for jumping a signal, and if you have a very, very costly car,
and if you are earning like 1 lakh rupees or 10 lakh rupees per month, right?
Yeah.
Then what is 1,000 rupees fine to you?
Yeah. So
You might as well create the crime and pay 1,000 rupees.
Yeah.
So these rules makes no sense to you because they're external, and whoever is applying these rules on you, if you're stronger than them, then these rules are useless.
So that means punitive rules must have sort of a uniform amount of pain, but that is hard to do. And if it's a uniform set of rewards, sometimes say you report garbage and you get 50 rupees, then you will hardly get any people who are actually reporting garbage if many people make a lot of money.
Yes, that's pretty much it.
So you cannot enforce uniform pain or happiness from punitive or rewards from an external system.
Yes. Not only you can not do it uniformly, to the people who are stronger than the government that is applying these rules, the rules doesn't even apply. Because they don't need to follow the rules. They're more powerful. Right? So the surefire way of making sure somebody is doing something in an orderly fashion is internal motivation. Alright? Now internal motivation, there are debates about can an external body actually create internal motivation into somebody or not. But for the most part, internal motivation is controlled by the individual itself. Alright? And according to modern psychology, the three main factors to develop internal motivation are the sense of autonomy. By autonomy, I mean the individual should feel that he is in control of his actions. It shouldn't feel like somebody is forcing him to do the actions. Right? So it should feel like whatever actions are happening from him are completely under his control. So even if you think about it yourself, whenever you feel like somebody is forcing you to do something, you'll not feel that motivation. But when you feel like you're doing it by your own decision making, you will feel the motivation. Right? The second thing is usefulness. So once you are in control of your actions, next thing is by those actions, if you feel that it is being useful to somebody, right, or if it is being useful to the society itself, right, then that feeling of usefulness also is one more factor for internal motivation. And after usefulness, the third thing is belonging. So you are in control of your actions. Your actions are useful to other people, and because of the usefulness, they trust you. They begin to trust you. There is a sense that they will trust you. If these three factors combine, according to modern psychology, internal motivation can be developed.
Okay, so if you take the example of standing in a queue in metro, then if first thing is somehow people should by themselves want to stand in the queue, then they will see that it is actually faster if they stand in the queue for people to enter and exit.
Yes.
And then at some point if they decide that, oh, this is my metro, I need to make sure that I am standing in queue and keeping up with the system so that it's convenient for the entire system and for everyone else using this our Rama metro, then you will have that sense of belonging.
No, the sense of belonging, it will modify a little. It's like you can trust the other people also, or the other people will trust you that you will stay in line.
Okay.
So everybody trusts each other there. Then everybody will have the mutual feeling of, oh, we Indians are rule following, queue following Indians. That is a common identity of all of us. So we all trust each other.
Okay, so the people who are Indian also sing the national anthem. People who are Indian also happen to follow the queue when climbing into the metro.
It's like how Indore has got the common identity of becoming the cleanest city in India. If you are a person from Indore, I will completely trust you with cleanliness. You will 100% keep it clean, right? So these three things, if they exist, it can drive internal motivation, which can also create an order in society, right? And this is more stronger than external reward and punishment. Is that making sense?
Correct, because one is where punishments and incentives are not standardized, but if you really want to do it yourself, then you will ensure that it happens across the board, regardless of what your life situation is.
Yes. Is that right?
Yeah.
Fine. Now, once you've understood what civic sense is, why it is needed, and how to even create civic sense, right? The next thing is you should understand what the problem is. Alright? In India, the biggest problem is that there is a lack of civic sense. Of course, not everybody in India lacks civic sense. There are only a certain, of course, a major portion of the population, but there is a sizable population that is lacking civic sense, and there are sizable population that is following proper civic sense. Fine. Now let's understand the reason for why that population lacks civic sense. Let's understand the problem a little more deeper. Right? There are three components that will make people stop following rules. What are those three components? The most basic component is greed. Everybody has greed. They want benefit for themselves. This is the base feeling that is required. On top of greed, you need a scarcity. By scarcity, I mean there is high demand and low supply. So there is a big population in a town, and there are very minimum resources, very less water, very less food. Everybody has greed. Then you will start fighting for resources. I want resources, I want water, I want food, I want water, I want food. Okay? But still, if only these two are there, no. To some extent, you can tell them that, oh, if you work hard, you will get resources, so please work hard, let's do it in a systematic manner. The third component that will completely break the sense of civic sense in people is an unfair system. By unfair system, what I mean is, if you promise the person in a scarce environment that your greed will be satisfied if you follow certain rules, please follow this rule, this rule, this rule, do this hard work, and your greed will be satisfied. You are promising that. He does the things. I will make sure that I will follow the rules properly, perfectly, in order to make sure that my greed is satisfied. But it is not happening. Even though you follow the rules, some or the other person will be there who breaks the rules. And even if one person breaks the rule in this entire system, what happens is everybody else who is protecting the rules will be in a loss, and the person who is cheating will win. Then there is no incentive to protect the rules at all. Right? So automatically, if these three combine, you will see in a society there is no civic sense.
And this is assuming that there is no
Internal motivation.
Internal motivation. Okay.
Yes. What I am saying is, internal motivation, even if it exists, even if internal motivation exists, these two things can be ignored. The moment it comes to this, internal motivation will die because you feel like you are not in control of your actions. Even if you work hard, you are not getting any result. So therefore, your actions are seeming useless, meaningless, and there is no usefulness, obviously. And you are not able to trust the system. So the internal motivation also dies because of this.
Correct.
Is that making sense?
So if you are standing in the queue in the metro and then one guy just decides to skip the queue, jump in and go and get a seat.
And the door closes, everybody waiting in the queue couldn't get into the train.
Yeah.
Then everybody think, why am I waiting in the queue?
Yeah.
If I skipped the line and went off, I would have got into the train.
Correct.
So the meaning of the queue is completely gone.
Correct.
Right? Even if there are limited trains and everybody wants to get in the train early, okay, if other people are sacrificing their time, you will feel like, okay, because other people are sacrificing their time, I will let me not sacrifice my time. Okay.
Correct.
So internal motivation can be built because of community, even if these two exist. But the moment this appears, unfair system appears,
everything breaks.
internal motivation also breaks. Is that clear?
Correct.
Okay. So this is the problem of lack of civic sense. This is leading to dirty roads, bad infrastructure, not following queues, honking, all the things you see in Indian society. All of it is coming from this. Is that all right?
Okay.
Okay. On the other hand, too much civic sense is also a problem. I think this is the first time you would have heard this. Right? So whenever you talk about civic sense, people in India will tell you, let's follow Japan, let's follow South Korea. These are the ideal societies. Let us follow these ideal societies and improve our nation. I, living in Japan, can tell you that too much civic sense also has its own problems.
Okay.
Right? Let me explain. Okay? The conclusion, the problem of too much civic sense is that there is lack of motivation.
Why?
By lack of motivation, what I mean is, you will think, I'll just keep following the rules. Why is there need for me to try something new? Why is there need for me to take any risk? Is that making sense? Whereas life is full of risks. Life is full of risks. Making a family is a risk. Okay? So finding the woman you love, marrying that woman, giving birth to children, making a family is a risk. You don't know whether the woman will put a case on you or not. You don't know whether the children will be born normally or not. You don't know whether you will be able to feed the children or not. Correct? It's a risk. Life is full of these risks. Okay. But if you are in a society that is saying that as long as you follow certain rules, no harm will be done to you, you will not think about breaking the rules or moving away from the rules. Okay? And if these rules, they are not changing with time, what happens is, external conditions to the country will change. People in the country will still be following the same rules, even though it is not benefiting anybody anymore. They are still safe. As long as they are following the rules, nobody is going to harm them. They are getting some sort of reward. But nobody is breaking the rules to create something new so that everybody will survive, or at least some people will survive in a calamity or something like that.
Okay, so that means if everyone is too stuck up on following the rules and nobody is there to question the rules, then say something changes and that rule is now actually not providing the benefit of order, but people still continue to follow it, then that is a risk of blind rule following.
Yes, at some point, following the rule itself becomes the objective.
Okay, what is a good example for this?
So, for example, whether people will agree with this or not is a point of debate. Okay, but in Japan, when you're going in a train, everybody has to shut up. No, you can't speak in a train for the most part. The Japanese people will justify it saying that this is how the Japanese are, let us alone, let us be alone, etc. etc. But the desire to speak to your friend or family, etc. in the train is a normal desire. But you're sacrificing it for everybody else. That is a small sacrifice. Let's go to a little bigger sacrifice. Okay, you're walking in the train. An old person is not able to maintain his balance and falls off. Going out of your way to help that person could result in lots of rule following that you do not want to follow to make sure that you don't want to waste your time. Is that making sense? Because there are too many rules to follow, right?
Correct.
So you will start avoiding the rule. You are still following the rule by avoiding certain other rules. So going out of your way to help somebody, which could cost crazy amount of rule following cost, you will avoid those completely, so that you can follow your own rules and stay silently and happily.
Okay, so that means you will take out things from your life you would otherwise do because of how many rules you are forced or internally tend to follow.
Yes.
So the cost of doing something which might end up with you having to follow rules is high.
Another easy example is breakdown of family. I don't want to marry. Why? It incurs following a lot of rules. The laws are so strict now, right? There could be so many risks. If she comes, she marries me and files a complaint on me, I go to jail. My son is lost, my daughter is lost. Why should I marry? Why should I take that risk? Let me follow my own rules, I'll live my own happy life.
Okay, that is fine. Okay.
So these are some, okay, I'll give you an economic example. Okay, in Japanese companies, there are some sort of norms that have to be followed, where you cannot speak out of turn, or like you cannot break order of things to do. Like you have to make sure that every single step of the compliance is followed before you can even send a feature outside. Testing is a hell. Software testing or hardware testing is a hell in Japan. Anything that you need to do, you need to go through crazy amounts of permits and rules. Not one problem should happen. So there is no room for failure. You have to make sure every rule is followed. So obviously you cannot try out new things.
Okay.
All of this will lead to this lack of motivation to even try something new, because it comes with lots of
Friction.
rules to follow.
Yeah.
The cost of following the rules is too much. Okay.
Okay.
On the other hand, you will end up with people who are extremely good at following the rules. They'll follow the rules, but to satisfy their own greed. Society is not at all benefiting from rule following at some point, because the rules are outdated.
So you go from so in the top case, lack of civic sense case, you go from having a loss of mental bandwidth due to not knowing what to do at all because of no rules.
Yes.
And then at the other end, you go to loss of mental bandwidth because there are too many rules for you to follow, so you're not able to think of other things also.
Yes, you will choose only the easiest solution. And in choosing the easiest solution, always comes with no progress.
So the ideal case is somewhere in between, where there's enough rules where it doesn't take up too much of your brain capacity, but also provides the order for you to be able to do other things.
Yes. And you should understand, when we talk about too much civic sense societies, right? Not everybody in Japan and South Korea are internally motivated to follow the rules. The moment a Japanese person and South Korean person leaves the country, goes to a foreign country, they change like anything. You will find them committing crazy amounts of crimes in other countries. But the moment they come back to Japan, they are following the social norms. So most of them are motivated by external rules. It goes to such an extent where people go so deep into trying to find some sort of some way to comprehend one rule to suit their own benefit. Right? It goes to some other extent where the person is making the rule. He'll make the rule abstract such that whenever it has to benefit him in the future, he can take it in any way he wants, twist it in any way he wants.
Okay.
See,
Right.
all of this golmaal happens in overly civic sense, rule following society.
Okay.
Is that making sense?
Okay.
Here we'll take a side note. This has nothing to do with the end conclusion, but we'll take a side note. So these two societies, right? These two societies lead to different opposite parenting styles. The reason being, in a society that lacks civic sense, right? You cannot trust the system at all. Nobody, you cannot, strangers you cannot at all trust. Somebody will definitely break the rule. Okay? So in that country, the thing with the most value that you can provide the children is connections. So in India, connections is king. What I mean by this is that within the family, almost everybody follows the rules in India. Yes or no?
Yeah.
At least for most families, most middle class families, most people make sure that they are not hurting the father, they are not hurting the mother. The mother and father, they do so much sacrifice to make sure the child is all right. Right? Similarly, this type of family, grandfather, grandparents, all and relatives, to the most part.
So civic sense is the orderly nature is maintained within the family.
Within the family or within the people who you can completely trust. And that is nothing but a connections. Therefore, in India, if you see, right, the way of parenting, no, every parent will make sure that the child is dependent on everybody. In the sense that they will make sure that the child is not leaving the house. Child has to stay in the house only till even if he becomes an adult. Every time they go to a function or every time they are to a wedding, some sort of other function, they will make sure the child says greeting to every single relative, so that every single relative can help the child when in times of trouble. Because the government is not going to come to the help of the child. Is that making sense?
Valid. Yeah.
Right. Therefore, the main objective of Indian parenting, whether it is they are aware of it or not, they will always try to make sure that the child is well connected, so that when the child becomes an adult, if he faces any problem, some connection will come and help him. On the other hand, right, Japan, no, it is the complete opposite. Because the systems work so perfectly. Okay, any sort of personal behavior, personal favor or any sort of dependency on other person, okay, is just going to make that person less beneficial in the competition, continued competition of capitalism. Is that making sense? I might have not worded it properly. Essentially, what I'm trying to say, let me give you an example. Okay, let's say we both are brothers in Japan. Okay, if I work hard, the system will give me reward. If my brother works hard, the system also will give him the reward. Correct? Now, for my benefit, if I am taking my brother's time too much and he is sacrificing his time, he is losing his benefit and giving it to me. Is that making sense?
Correct.
You will feel guilt. If I alone work hard, I will get enough benefit. Then asking help from others.
It's like basically stealing their benefit for your benefit.
Yes, it will come with guilt. Especially to the people who you love. You will think that if I ask too much help from them, I am just making them sacrifice their own benefit for my own gain. I don't want to do that. I want them to have their own benefit. I will work hard to find my own benefit. Therefore, the Japanese parents will make sure that self-reliance is taught to the kid as much as possible. Their only focus is, how do I make sure that this kid is going to do everything by himself or herself by the time she's 18. Therefore, in Japan, you see small kids walking, kindergarten kids walking in the streets by themselves to school, coming back by themselves from school. This culture of self-reliance is existing in Japan because of this purpose. Because the system is rewarding for hard work. If you follow the rules, if you do hard work, the system is going to reward you.
Yeah.
So you get opposite sides of parenting.
Yeah.
This is a side note, not much to do with the next conclusion.
Okay.
But this is essentially the entire society.
Yeah.
How society exists Okay.
Huh.
Now, so we discussed that. So until now we discussed what is civic sense. It is just order. Why is it needed? To improve efficiency of societal goals. And how to create it is you can either create it by external rules or internal motivation. We discussed what happens if you lack the problems of lacking civic sense and having too much civic sense. Alright? So we discussed this much. Now we'll try and find the solution to these problems. And the wonderful thing, no, our ancestors, we have such a big long history, no, that we have been through all of this many times. So many times that they thought, might as well put them as big stories so that you don't keep finding the same problem and think of solution again and again. You have our two epics, Ramayana and Mahabharata. Both of them give the solution for both of these. So Ramayana teaches how to maintain civic sense, whereas Mahabharata teaches how to limit civic sense. Don't do too much civic sense. Okay? So the protagonist of Ramayana is Sri Rama. Right? Sri Rama he is the biggest example of civic sense. He is the biggest example of rule following. Look at him. At the age of 16 or 17, 18 or something like that, no? His father Dasharatha tells him to leave the kingdom. He's supposed to be the next king of Ayodhya. He's supposed to be the next king, and the Yuvaraja is told to leave to the forest for 14 years with his newly married wife.
And he just sleeps.
He just sleeps. No fight, no quarrel, no argument, nothing. This is a rule. I have to follow my father's orders. I will follow it. For Putra Dharma. And 14 years of suffering.
Okay.
First of all, this suffering also happens because Dasharatha had promised to his wife Kaikeyi that he'll give any sort of wish to her. So Dasharatha also, he doesn't want to send Rama to the forest. He is also following the rule only for his own suffering. Correct? So okay, 14 years happened, then the war happened, all of that happened. He comes back. At least now he can be aramse living as the king, right? No, because the people are shouting and creating unrest in society, saying that his wife is not pure, that this and all. He spent most of these 14 years walking from North India to South India, building an army, crossing the ocean, going to Lanka, defeating the most powerful king at the time, just for what? To get back his wife. This much effort he put into getting his wife, and at the first sign of knowing that it will cause societal unrest, it will cause lack of order in the society, what does he do?
He sends his wife away.
He sends that same wife away back to the forest. And on realizing that the wife has gone to the forest, that too the wife is pregnant, Sita is pregnant at the time. Sending your pregnant wife with the next possible heir to the throne. And Sita goes to the forest and says, yes, if it is for societal order, it is valid. I accept my husband's decision.
Correct. So everyone is a rule follower.
Everyone is a rule follower in this. Other than Ravana.
Yeah.
So, this also is rule following.
So
right?
everyone who's on the good side of Ramayana is a rule follower.
Yes, everybody is rule follower.
Huh.
Okay. Essentially, what Ramayana is teaching, no? Following the rule comes with sacrifice. Your greed will not always be satisfied if you follow the rule. Okay. And of course, you will suffer. Rama suffering, Sita suffering is immense. It's not bearable by the likes of us common humans. You can't understand what suffering they would have gone under. Okay, but the reason why it is exaggerated to such an extent is that it is saying that following the rules is going to come with some sort of suffering for sure. If these both, Sita and Rama, are able to maintain such amounts of mental stability and mental peace with so much suffering, can't you maintain little patience with small suffering that comes from waiting in queue?
Correct.
He's waited 14 years to come back to his throne. And he's lost his wife. And he's still maintaining peace. He's doing his work. And you can't wait for 5 minutes in a queue.
Correct.
Right? So Ramayana is teaching you how to maintain civic sense, how to follow the rules, and how to deal with sacrifice, how to make sure that your mental peace is staying calm, how to stay calm even if you are sacrificing, and believe in the greater good of society. Alright? So once Ramayana happened in Treta Yuga, everybody followed Ramayana, and everybody is thinking, okay, we should also follow the rules, we should also follow. I will follow the rule, I will follow the rule, I will follow the rule, I will follow the rule. In India, everybody became a rule follower. That leads to Dwapara Yuga. Dwapara Yuga, everybody is following the rule. So much so that the villain, Duryodhana is the villain. He is the person who followed the rules the most in Mahabharata. Every single time, he is the only person who followed the rule. Everybody else has broken a rule, he is the only person who followed the rules. The Draupadi's Vastra, the removing of the sari, right? That was done according to the rules. The people who are supposed to be the judges of the rules, Bhishma, Drona, these people were in the court. They were supposed to judge whether these rules are valid or not. They judged that these rules are valid. They couldn't do anything even though the woman's sari was being stripped in front of everybody. Because why? Everything is being followed. The rules are being followed.
Correct.
On the other hand, God is breaking rules. He is breaking so many rules. He will tell Bhima to go and break Jarasandha's legs by 2. He will tell Bhima to go and beat the Duryodhana's thigh, also breaking a rule. For sake of Arjuna, he will make the sun only
vanish.
He'll make the sun reappear. He'll put a light in the sky in the night so that he can continue fighting in the night. How many rules will he break? He will even allow the marriage of Draupadi to 5 Pandavas, saying it's an exceptional case. He is breaking all the rules.
Yeah.
You see how our society, Indian society, has already been through all of this. Okay, we were at a place where Ravana is creating chaos. Rama came and established order. He said that no, everybody should follow rules, and this is how you follow the rules. This is how you sacrifice yourself for following the rules. This is a societal benefit. Everybody started following the rules because, like you retards, everybody is following the rules to perfection. You end up with people like characters like Duryodhana,
who are actually manipulating the rules to actually.
He is not to change the word of any rule.
He's following everything as is, but using the rules to his advantage.
Yes, he's using the rules only to his greed. If you see something similar is happening, okay, the people in Japan, their family is disintegrating because of following too many rules. What happened in Mahabharata? The family is disintegrating because of following too many rules. You see, this already happened. Right? Then this feels little weird, right? Okay, how do I conclude with this? What is my lesson? Okay, India, if all of us learn to sacrifice and learn to deal with sacrifice, get mental strength to at least be patient and wait in the queue. Okay, we can learn from Rama and Sita and somehow try to follow the rules. Then we can probably establish some amount of civic sense. How do we escape this? What is Krishna telling us? Krishna is telling us to break rules. What message is that? Right? So, what Krishna is saying, no? Let's go to the Bhagavad Gita. In Bhagavad Gita, what is Arjuna saying? Arjuna starts crying in the battlefield, saying that if this battle happens, okay, if this battle happens, that will get destroyed, this will get destroyed, families will get destroyed, castes will start merging with each other and society will get ruined. Some logic is giving, saying that so much societal bad will happen if this war happens. Okay. So, because of, but, like I told you, even in Japan's case, right? You will lose motivation in a rule following society. Similarly, Arjuna also lost motivation. He's like, no, I will not follow. I don't want to do this war. I have lost complete motivation. I will go to the village, do small rule following there. Why should I care? Why should I, disturb the entire society? Right? Then Krishna gives the absolute lesson. The lesson here is that creating external rules, creating external reward and punishment is the problem. Expectation of external reward or punishment is the problem. He is telling you to focus on autonomy. That is what he means by karmanyeva adhikaraste. For control your actions. Don't care about external reward. He is telling you to control your actions by following autonomy. And if these actions are useful, it will automatically build trust. So order will automatically be generated as long as you are in only control of actions. The moment you are thinking too much about external reward, you will end up in the same too much civic sense problem. So Krishna is telling control good action. Forget external reward. So, as a conclusion, right? Rama is teaching you sacrifice. Learn to sacrifice. Learn to maintain mental strength in sacrifice. Next time you stand up in the queue, just wait 5 minutes. Nothing is going to happen in that 5 minutes. On the other hand, Krishna is telling you, don't do the waiting in the queue for external benefit. Do the waiting in the queue because you like waiting in the queue. It is your nature to wait in the queue. Control your good action. Automatically order in the society will be followed.